Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. The sensex and the nifty recover from their opening lows, end with marginal gains. Metals and PSU stocks under pressure. Auto and FMCG stocks lead the gains. SEBI conducts search and seizure operations at Quant Asset Management Company's headquarters in Mumbai. The fund house says it will provide all necessary support and continue to furnish data to the regulator. The impact of AI will be bigger than mobile and cloud, says the president of TCS in North America. Byju adds that business confidence is robust, but large clients in the US are in wait-and-watch mode ahead of the elections. NASPA's own Prosus writes down its entire Byju stake worth $493 million to zero, attributes the decision to inadequate information on the edtech firm's financial health, liabilities and future outlook.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी.
Prime Minister Modi takes oath as a parliamentarian for the third time in the first sitting of the 18th Lok Sabha. Resurgent opposition demands a debate on the paper leak issues and is already locking horns with the government on the appointment of the pro tem speaker. Student protests intensify in the capital after National Testing Agency delays the NEET postgraduate exam as a precautionary measure after Bihar and Gujarat police in Maharashtra register another case over an alleged NEET paper leak. A 100-day plan for the manufacturing sector is in the works. Sources say the government will take a call on new PLI schemes for footwear, leather and toy sectors, as well as look at modifying 5 other PLI schemes, including textiles and bulk drugs, to attract more investment. A deep tech policy for startups and a second law to remove unnecessary penal provisions impacting businesses also on the cards. Major labour and trade unions asked the finance minister to hike the minimum wage from 15,000 rupees to 26,000 rupees, also called for higher allocation to central schemes like midday meals and child development services. At least 19 killed in Russia's Dagestan province after gunmen attack a synagogue, an Orthodox church and police checkpoints. Russian authorities have called it a terror attack. No one has claimed responsibility so far. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the war will continue even if a ceasefire is agreed on with Hamas. Israeli forces claim to have killed a senior Hamas weapons expert. More than 37,500 Palestinians have died in the last 8 months, according to officials in Gaza. As always, the day's market action to start with. The markets did recover, coming off their opening lows, ending the day finally flat with a slight positive bias. The Nifty managing to stay above the 23,500 mark. So that's it, a very flat close, but as we pointed out, off the intraday lows. 36 points higher for the Nifty mid-cap up by about 147 points. ICICI Bank up by about 1% today. Reliance Industries down by almost 1% this afternoon. So those were some of the key stock movements. Prashant is standing by now to wrap up the day's trading action for us. Prashant, a muted Monday.
A very good session all told by 3:30 today, because the market in the morning looked bad. I mean, we were down about 150, 160 odd points, and by close, we were up almost 40, 50 points. So this is, a big improvement, and through the course of the day, the market looked better and better. Now, the Nifty, of course, will tell you that story on your screen. Nifty Bank maybe a little flatter. The Nifty Bank, remember, last week was the outperformer with a 3.5% gain, but no real follow-through today. Mid-caps and small caps. Mid-caps did better. Small caps, not so much on your screen. Now, the large cap stocks which did well, Mahindra and Mahindra, I mean, it's basically continuity. M&M has been doing very well. There's more gains there. Shriram Finance, one of the best performing NBFC names. There was Power Grid, Grasim and Sun Pharma. Sun Pharma, of course, had news flow, which also participated. On the downside, there was Indocent, there was Cipla and Adani Ports, which were 3 of the top losers. Now, in the broader markets, advance decline was almost evenly matched, although advances outnumbered declines, but not by much. Holding companies were all up and about between 10 and 20%. Bombay Burma, for example, case in point on your screen. Root Mobile was up big time. There was Exicom, fairly recent listing. Bombay Dyeing was up and about. Tube Investments, there was a TBO Tech, there was initiation from a foreign broker, Hikal, D-Link India, Greenply, Zodiac Clothing, out of the blue, but big volumes, up 20% today. On the downside as well, there was a fair bit of volume which was done. SAIL, Container Corporation, RCF are some of the names. Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, they lowered their guidance at the analyst meet. HFCL was down, NFL, some of these fertilizer stocks, actually a lot of them were down and out. Union Bank, Swan Energy, Mapma India had a big last week. It saw some profit booking. Policy Bazaar and Credit Access are some of the other names which also saw small pullbacks. All in all, a decent session given the fact that the market started sharply lower early today. Back to you.
All right, Prashant, many thanks for joining us. A quick check on the monsoon tracker. Meanwhile, the Met Department has predicted heavy rainfall along the western coast over the next few days, and this includes coastal Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Goa, with the southwest monsoon winds advancing further into Gujarat. Regions of North India and Central India may witness higher rainfall over the next few days, bringing some relief. Now, the market regulator SEBI has conducted search and seizure operations on Sandeep Tandon-owned Quant mutual fund as part of a probe into suspected front-running. According to a money control report, citing sources, the search and seizure operations were conducted across two locations, Mumbai and Hyderabad, on Friday. Now, Quant dealers and persons connected with the case were also questioned. The case allegedly relates to front-running, but the exact nature of the allegations could not be ascertained. It's also not clear if the management is under investigation or whether the probe relates only to external parties. Quant Mutual Fund is founded by Sandeep Tandon. The fund received a mutual fund license in 2017. It's been the fastest growing mutual fund in the country, with assets rising from 100-odd crores in 2019 to more than 90,000 crore rupees currently. In a statement, Quant said it has received inquiries from SEBI and it is fully committed to cooperate with the regulator. Now, Grow, another company in the dock, has clarified that no fraud took place after a user took to social media alleging that the investment app debited money from his account but did not invest in the mutual fund scheme. In its response, Grow said that no money had been deducted from the customer's bank account, adding that the customer never made the investment in question. In a subsequent post, the user had claimed the matter had been resolved and the money had been refunded. Grow said that they have credited the money to the customer in good faith. Now, the impact of artificial intelligence will be bigger than mobile and cloud. That's the word in from the president of TCS in North America, A.I.Bet Bajaj. Speaking to me earlier today, Bajaj said that business confidence is robust, but large clients in the US are in wait-and-watch mode ahead of the elections. TCS also observed that the company's spends on AI remain measured as adoption of the technology will take time to achieve scale. Take a look.
You know, this is really the mother market for you, Amit, and you've been here over the last few years running the North American business. What's the sense that you get in terms of business confidence, in terms of a return of discretionary spending capacity, discretionary spending power? Is it looking any different today from the last time that you spoke at the end of the quarter?
I think the overall confidence is quite robust, I would say, Shireen. But in the short term, we're going through an election year. There is fair amount of tailwinds that we have from good employment rates, good consumer demand, but there are also sense of headwinds with government spending, with inflation, with interest rate environment. So I think while the demand is holding up and businesses' top line is quite strong, they are still taking a cautious approach, investing, but being measured.
And when you say investing, is it incremental investment or is it really redeploying capital from one area to the next?
I would say the latter. So AI is very, very real, and it's everyone wants to invest in that.
So where are they pulling money out of and putting it into AI?
And the AI has both an applicability on the growth side, but also on efficiency and cost side. So at the near term, you can deploy the technology in business as usual activities and fund your innovation and growth cycles from there.
So pause for now, you believe at least through 2024 till the US elections are out of the way, which is November. So it pretty much takes care of this calendar year.
Yeah, I would say measured. We are going to see spending, but there's going to be a dislocation of spend. And it's going to be in certain ways self-funding, at least for now.
Well, you can catch that entire conversation with A.I.Bet Bajaj, the president of TCS in North America, at 9:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. on CNBC-TV18. Well, speaking of CNBC-TV18 exclusives, here's another. We learned from sources that Bharti Airtel has mega plans in the works to capitalize on its telecom tower vertical, that's Indus Towers. The firm is in talks with Vodafone PLC to buy an additional 3% stake in Indus Towers. Nisha is standing by with all the details. Nisha, what are you picking up?
Thanks for that. Yes, with an eye on telecom sector overall seeing some improvement with high expectations of a tariff hike as well. Well, the direct beneficiary will also be the telecom tower business of Indus Towers, and that gives Bharti Airtel a lot of confidence to come up with mega plans. In fact, sources with direct knowledge have shared with CNBC-TV18 that there is a two-pronged strategy which is at works. First, to consolidate the business of Indus Towers. Remember, they stopped short of 49% stake in the last stake that they bought from Vodafone, and now we gather from sources with direct knowledge that they are in talks to buy out the remaining 3% stake from Vodafone PLC. And not just that, it will also benefit Indus Towers because talks are meandering around a large part of the proceeds of that stake sale, which Vodafone should infuse and pay back some part of the dues to Indus Towers. Remember, Vodafone Idea owes dues to the tune of 5,400 crore rupees. Also to remember that the last block deal by Vodafone exempts the promoters from a lock-in period from the stake sale and buying more shares. The second part of the strategy is the data center Nextra, which is housed in Bharti Airtel at the current moment, dependent on Bharti Airtel for a large part of its business performance. That Bharti Airtel could be looking at merging with Indus Towers is what we gather from sources with direct knowledge. This for three reasons: value unlocking of Nextra, second, giving an exit to Carlyle, which owns 24% stake in the company, and third, also to make Bharti Airtel asset light. Remember, Indus Towers is a cash throwing business and their capital can be utilized for further expansion of high growth potential area of data centers. We reached out to all the companies named in the story. We did not get any comments on the queries that were given. But this is the two-pronged strategy that Bharti Airtel could be working on in capitalizing on Indus Towers' potential going forward as the health of telecom sector is likely to improve with the tariff hikes.
All right, Nisha, many thanks for joining us. Now, the Adani Group held its 32nd annual general meeting today. Group Chairman Gautam Adani claimed that the Hindenburg report was designed to defame the company, terming the allegations baseless once again. The US short seller Hindenburg had accused the Adani Group of manipulating its stock prices, allegedly using tax havens, which triggered a big fall in share prices last year. More than a year on, the Adani Group has regained most of the value that was lost. Take a look.
The attack was a calculated strike 2 days before the closing of our follow-on on public offer. It was designed to defame us, do maximum damage, and erode our hard-earned market value.
Gautam Adani. Dutch investment firm Prosus has marked down its entire investment in embattled edtech company Byju to zero, citing a significant decrease in value for equity investors. Prosus currently holds 9.6% stake in the company, and the development comes amidst the Prosus-led group of investors calling for an ouster of the current management and challenging its rights issue. Ritu joins us now with more on these developments. Ritu, Prosus now writing down its investment in Byju, and this, of course, follows other investors doing the same.
Yes, it does, and it's been process. We've seen Prosus, over the course of the last year or so, bringing down the value of its investment. And now Prosus, which is the largest external investor, by the way, in Byju, has written down the value of its 9.6% stake in the company down to zero. And it cited a significant decrease in value for equity investors while doing so. Now, over the course of the last 5 years, Prosus had invested about $536 million into Byju across multiple rounds. And in its latest annual report, it said that it recorded a fair value loss of $493 million on account of this investment that it has made. Now, a Prosus spokesperson told us that the write-down was primarily because Byju had, and I quote, inadequate information on the company's financial health, liabilities, and future outlook, end of quote, that it provided to Prosus. Now, Prosus's move follows BlackRock BlackRock, which is the world's largest asset manager, also recently writing down its stake in Byju to zero. The move also comes amid a group of investors led by Prosus seeking to oust Byju Ravindran and co-founder Divya Gokulnath from the company, changing the management, revamping the board. These investors have also challenged Byju's recently concluded $200 million rights issue in court, and the company cannot really use these funds until the courts dispose of the matter. Byju's is also facing an acute financial crunch. It has had to resort to layoffs, not so, in the distant past, and it is entangled in multiple legal disputes, including bankruptcy pleas that it is facing from several of its creditors across courts. Byju's is also in the middle of all of this, seeing an exodus of the senior management, the board members in the past year as well, including from the Prosus representative because of governance and other concerns. And it is amid all of this turbulence that you now have investors like BlackRock and more recently Prosus writing down their investments to zero in what was once the most celebrated edtech company that was at its peak, valued at $22 billion. Now its value being written down to zero.
Well, what a cautionary tale it's turning out to be there as far as Byju's is concerned. Ritu, many thanks for joining us. We will head into a break, but up next, Prime Minister Modi takes oath as a parliamentarian for the third time in the first sitting of the 18th Lok Sabha. A resurgent opposition demands a debate on the paper leak issue. That and more when we return.
The Samarth Assistive Devices Conclave 2024 was organized under the aegis of Samarth Initiative, which witnessed meaningful conversations about solutions and assistive devices that can significantly improve the lives of people with disabilities, making the world more accessible for everyone.
The first session of the 18th Lok Sabha began today. Prime Minister Modi took oath as a parliamentarian for the third time, along with his council of ministers. In his pre-session remarks, the Prime Minister took a jibe at the opposition over the emergency imposed by the Congress party 50 years ago on the 25th of June. Opposition MPs, including Rahul Gandhi, held copies of the Constitution, while Prime Minister Modi took oath. Ahead of the session, India bloc leaders, including Rajya Sabha lawmakers Mallikarjun Kharge and Sonia Gandhi, were seen protesting with copies of the Constitution. A resurgent opposition is expected to corner the government on the alleged irregularities in the NEET and UGC NET competitive exams. The opposition has already locked horns with the government over the appointment of the pro tem speaker. As per convention, the post is reserved for the Lok Sabha MP with the highest number of terms. The primary role of the pro tem speaker is to administer the oath to new members. The Congress said the post should have gone to 8-term Lok Sabha MP K. Suresh. Instead, the government appointed 7-term MP Bharatwari Mehtab, who switched to the BJP from the Byju Janata Dal ahead of the Lok Sabha elections as the pro tem speaker. Well, the new government's 100-day plan for the manufacturing sector is in the works. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 the government will take a call on new performance-linked incentive schemes for footwear, leather and toy sectors. It may also modify 5 other PLI schemes to try and attract more investment. Parikshit is standing by with the details. Parikshit, take us through what is on the anvil, both in terms of new PLI schemes as well as those that are up for modification.
Well, encouraging manufacturing in new technologies, attracting more investments in PLI-related sectors would be a priority for NDA in its third term. We heard that 3 new PLI proposals have been prepared by the government, and it remains to be seen whether they will be finally approved in the next 100 days or so. So this includes the labor-intensive sectors for footwear, toys, and leather. And this also shows a priority for the government to increase employment in manufacturing. Similarly, there are 5 PLI schemes which could be up for modifications, including textiles, food processing, solar, bulk drugs, and the pharma sector. The government is trying to see if the number of product lines in each of these PLI schemes can be increased so that more applicants can apply, and also the time limit for starting manufacturing can be increased, for example, in textiles from 2 to 3 years. So these are some of the changes that could take place in these 5 PLI schemes. When we speak about food processing, the government is keen on setting up smart food processing hubs across the country and make India an important player in the global value chain for food processing in fruits, vegetables, fish, and dairy products as well. At the same time, when it comes to pharmaceutical sector, the government wants to have a greater focus on manufacturing and research in APIs, and within the existing PLI framework, have an expansion of the research-linked incentive schemes. When we speak about the existing sectors, the government wants to further encourage manufacturing in electronics, automobiles, defense, and mobile, with a greater push for job creation in these sectors. Decriminalizing laws and removing unnecessary penal provisions will be a priority in the 100 days as well. So if there was Jan Vishwas 1 in NDA 2.0, there will be Jan Vishwas 2, which will be ready within the 100 days, and a bill will also be prepared. A deep tech policy for the startup ecosystem is also in the works, and this will be to encourage strategic partnerships, innovation, research, and manufacturing in the startup ecosystem in India.
All right, Parikshit, many thanks for joining us. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman held pre-budget consultations with representatives of the trade unions and labour organisations. The unions presented their list of demands, including a hike in minimum wages from 15,000 rupees to 26,000 rupees. The representatives have sought that wages of Asha, Anganwadi and midday meal workers be increased as well. The unions urged the Finance Minister to ensure statutory minimum support price for all farm produce based on the MS Swaminathan Commission. Student protests have intensified across India after the NEET postgraduate exam was postponed over the weekend. The centre says the decision was taken as a precautionary measure following allegations of irregularities in the NEET UG and UGC NET exams. Meanwhile, the Maharashtra police have registered a case against 4 suspects, including 2 teachers, over the alleged NEET paper leak. Earlier, several suspects were arrested in Bihar and Gujarat, and the probe was handed over to the CBI. Archana is here now with more on what is going on. Archana, many developments have taken place over the weekend. Where do things currently stand? I mean, the ambiguity and uncertainty over the road ahead also continues.
Yes, Shireen, in the wake of the NEET undergraduate entrance exam controversy, the past week was turbulent for millions of students, their anxious parents, and above all, India's education system. Let's quickly update our viewers on the latest developments. The CBI, which filed an FIR in connection with the malpractices in the NEET entrance exam following the allegations of paper leak, mass copying and irregular marking, has sent teams to Patna and Godhra for further investigation. So far, 18 people have been arrested in this case. Now, what is the CBI probing in this controversy? It's investigating conspiracy, cheating, impersonification, breach of trust, and destruction of evidence by candidates, coaching centers, middlemen, and even probing the role of public servants. Now, shocking details have emerged from Bihar so far. The Bihar police, which was investigating the case before the case was taken over by the CBI, has revealed that members of the Mukhiaji gang, which is accused of orchestrating the paper leak, allegedly received the solved answer sheet of the exam a day before it was to be held. The gang allegedly printed the answer sheets and gave them to NEET candidates. Now, in another development on Sunday, out of 1,563 students who were asked to take the NEET retest over grace marks, Out of them, only 813 appeared for the retest. Remember, questions were raised after some students received grace marks, which is unusual. The NTA, or the National Testing Agency, which conducts NEET, justified their move by saying that grace marks were given to candidates to make up for the loss of time at the respective exam centers. There were allegations that this led to the inflation of marks and in turn led to 67 students from the same center receiving a perfect score of 720 marks. 6 students, my apologies, from the same center receiving a perfect score, and overall 67 emerged as toppers. Now, what has the government said so far? While consistently denying any paper leak, the government has maintained that the incidents of malpractices were localized or isolated, and it's not fair to jeopardize the careers of lakhs of candidates who cleared the exam rightfully. Amid mounting pressure, the government has removed NTA chief Subodh Kumar Singh and put him on compulsory wait till further orders. Moreover, the Education Ministry has formed a high-level panel to suggest exam reforms and review the functioning of the National Testing Agency. It's headed by former ISRO chief K. Radhakrishnan. There's even more bad news. The NEET-PG entrance exam, which was scheduled to take place yesterday, too has been postponed. Now, as India's Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan took oath in Parliament today, many eyes will be on him to resolve the massive crisis that has dented the credibility of India's education system. Remember, over 13 lakh candidates out of around 24 lakh qualified in this NEET entrance exam to compete for just 1.8 lakh seats. Back to you.
Achha, many thanks for joining us. And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Business 360. But before we go, a quick note, a daily wrap of the top headlines will hit your inbox every day before we call it a night. CNBC-TV18's daily newsletter on LinkedIn features the top 10 stories on markets, corporates, economic insights and financial highlights. So subscribe now, get the CNBC-TV18 edge. The news continues after this short break.
The Samarth Assistive Devices Conclave 2024 was organized under the aegis of Samarth Initiative, which witnessed meaningful conversations about solutions and assistive devices that can significantly improve the lives of people with disabilities, making the world more accessible for everyone.
The idea is to create a narrative that the people have so much of potential, to create some role models. And under the Samarth initiative, we are trying to support so many para-athletes. We are wanting to train them so that they can bring laurels to the country, which will really motivate so many others. The other thing is, how do you really create awareness? How do you really create inclusivity? And amongst that, what we have done is, we have a pledge, and more than 300,000 have already taken this pledge about inclusivity. So we want more and more people to really join this movement. Today, under this program, as you know, we have given 72 assistive devices. Going forward in the next 3 years, we are going to give 684 assistive devices to people so that we can make their lives better. We would never be satisfied until each and every person really joins this movement and makes it upon himself to make sure that each one of us makes this society a very inclusive one.